some people are probably sitting there thinking, Eddie, why do you think it's a great day? It's a great day because my episode on Yahoo Finance's Stocks in Translation with Jared Billickry and Brooke DePalma just aired. It aired at 6 o'clock. I will share the link later on in the comments. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But let's get to the news because there's a lot to cover today. We've got the SEC clearing Fuse Energy. Basically, what they said was, there's nothing, there's no there. And they walked away. That's what the SEC did. So that's actually a huge, big deal in the space because it's helping to bring precedent and clarity to the crypto space. So that's kind of something that we're looking for. Wish they'd have done it with Tornado Cash, but they're not walking away from that one. They seem to be digging in on that. But with Fuse Energy token or their energy token, they're basically saying, there's nothing for us to do here. We're just going to issue this and walk away from it, which is a great thing. I'm trying to rifle through things because there's a ton of news that we have to get through, and then we also obviously have to get through the numbers, which is something that we do all the time. For those on Facebook, welcome. For those on YouTube, welcome. And pretty soon, those on GMB TV, welcome. So what else do we have? We have Zoom beating estimates. Right? Beat their Q3 estimates, which is great because what they're doing is they had rolled out a whole bunch of AI tools to go along with their Zoom package, integrated the whole nine. There were a lot of companies, big enterprises that had built their own tools to kind of go along with Zoom. And Zoom and I sat there and I was just like, why are you doing that? That's a waste of time, waste of money. Why would you do that? So what happened? Exactly what I thought would happen. Zoom came out with their own tools and basically immediately made everybody else's tools obsolete. If you rolled your own tool to use with Zoom, you've been obsoleted. Is what it is. But they did well. And in a market where I'm surprised they're still doing well, that's a good thing. That's a strong company right there. No, I do not. They don't pay me, and no, I do not own a bag of Zoom. Wall Street needs not to be worried about Bitcoin, and I said this on the show today, but Anthony Pompliano agrees with me. And my point is that there are so many things going on around crypto that lay out the framework, and not just a framework, but the foundation that was built on that framework. That's why I kept telling you guys, just look at the foundation that's there. Look at everything that's being built right now. And then after you see that get built out, and they left, and we're basically leaving room for more foundation to be built, there's also building going on top of that foundation. That is why I'm not worried. A lot of people look at me and they kind of go, but are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm dead serious. People that don't understand Bitcoin, go buy both of my books. Go buy both of my books. You can find Eddie Johnson on Amazon, buy both books. And you'll have a very strong understanding about where everything's coming from. And you'll understand why there's such a strong push on the digital asset side versus the traditional banking side. And then it's up to you to make a decision on whether or not you still believe in traditional banking. Yeah, that's funny. I do think it's funny. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at anybody that still believes in traditional banking, but I am laughing at the fact that, the lethargy that seems to be so pervasive in the space has drowned out clear thinking about moving onward and upward. And they're not keeping up with the times. I'm expecting there to be fallout. I'm drastically expecting there to be fallout for those that are not out there doing things, moving things, making things happen. The ones that are sleeping, the ones that were slow to the draw. Yeah, I expect them to go away. I expect any bank that can't redefine what it does or bring clear definition as to what it does now, what it's going to be doing in the future, how they're going to get there, map that out, have strong leadership, and think sovereignty first, meaning the safety, the data safety for your customers first, you're going to fail. You're going to fail because crypto's doing that for people. And if you can't match that or work with the digital asset space, that's where you're going to have a problem. And that doesn't mean run out there and create your own stable coin. That's going to be a massive, I think that's going to be a massive mistake if companies run out there and they go, oh, we're going to have a stable coin. We're going to have a stable coin. That's cute. Everybody and their mama wants to have a stable coin. Losing sight of there are already coins here that do what you think your stable coin is going to do. Okay. probably the only one that's going to get away with that is going to be a huge bank. That's the only one that I can see that can possibly get away from it. Or if you're a PayPal because you have a captive audience, or if maybe you're a MasterCard and you're able to close the deal on Zero Hash, you have a captive audience. If anybody buys Ubiquity or Hybrix, you have a captive audience. Other than that, if that's not what you're doing, why are you opening up a stablecoin? What, so you can move funds around within your own space? Maybe make an outside deal with a small tertiary bank? You serious? Yeah. I'm expecting, I said it on the show, and I'll say it again. I'm expecting the stablecoin space to blow up like meme coins did and then go away. The difference is that you don't make money on stablecoins. Right? I mean, they're pegged to a fiat. So the idea of making money on that, unless you're counting on staking, which they seem to have an issue with. Banks seem to have an issue with that. Rewarding their customers for leaving their money in the bank for assets under management so that they can actually do more with their money, make more with their money. They don't want to share that profit with anybody. Greed kills. That's why I'm expecting things to go down. Then you also have South Korea's Upbit, right? Upbit is merging with another company, Naver, right? Or Naver, I think what it is. And so Upbit's parent company, Dunamu, is looking to go IPO in the United States when that merger is complete. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a smart move. Because they're based in South Korea, financial hub. Go IPO in the United States, make a name for yourself, right? Abide by local compliance, get into the United States, and you've got global reach into the biggest markets out there. And they exist and do business in other places too. So why not cash in on a nice little IPO? I would. I absolutely would. Got no problem with that. Japan's FSA requires crypto exchanges to hold liability reserves. Data breaches. They want you to have contingency funds for data breaches. Smart. I was speaking about with a couple of people the other day. You need to have, when you identify risk, you need to identify also how much could that risk possibly cost. And if it costs that much, well, you need to have reserves for it. You might not be able to have reserves for every single risk that you have, but you need to be able to have a general pot of money for risk management. And like I said before, when I look at all the sovereignty issues, the data sovereignty issues that banks face, they have a lot to deal with. Let's not downplay that. Banks have a lot to deal with when it comes to, managing, personal data and all that good stuff. It's not an easy job. It is ridiculously difficult. But some of these banks that have been taken to court have been found to have poor practices in place. And I believe I'm one of those people that unless you make it so that the cost of the error is more. So let's say the first time, okay, I can understand a slap on the wrist. But the second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, it's got to be a painful experience for them. They should be paying up big time. They shouldn't be looking at it as, well, it's just a cost of doing business. Because that means that they're expecting to get caught. They're expecting something bad to happen, but they're expecting it to not be 100% of the proceeds that they've made from either the mistake or the planned mistake. So there's that. That's why I have kind of a strong feeling about it, right? Europe is looking to get into AI. Miss Lagarde, I forgot her first name. That's actually bad. Christine Lagarde. I thought that was it. Christine Lagarde is saying, listen, if Europe doesn't adopt AI quickly, they'll fall behind. Yeah, that's true. But I think what most companies around the world need to do is start thinking about AI not as a replacement, but as an enhancement. Like I said, Goldman Sachs has a really good idea about what they want to do. They want to increase capacity. Their first thought is increase capacity. Second thought, we might have to get rid of a few people. Not something they're proud to do, but first step, let's see if we can increase capacity. If we can increase capacity, we can shift resources around. And while we're implementing all of this, we can start the training process so people are ready and prepared. That's what I'm saying. That's a good outlook. Other companies are out here saying, "Oh, we're just going to replace people. We're going to cut the cost of things," and then you have companies already feeling that bite of, "Yeah, we're going to have to call those people back to see if they can come back to work." And let me tell you, I'd be one of those people that you'd get charged a stupid fee. That was my salary before. Don't think I'm going to come back to bail your tail out and make the same money after having gone through all that turmoil. No, I'm going to come back. I'm going to get my bonus. I'm going to get more money. And then maybe you'll listen. Maybe you'll change the leadership, because they always want to change the people down here. They never want to change the people over here that made that decision. Start there. Start there, folks. I'm telling you, change is afoot, and you better grasp onto it quickly. Galaxy Digital, Mike Novogratz. Good morning, Rick Ritchie. Mike Novogratz is in talks with not only Polymarket, but also Kalshi to offer liquidity. I don't know if you've noticed, but you should do some research on Galaxy Digital. Galaxy. I think you should do some research on them. They have been making some really strategic moves. Really strategic moves. Quiet ones like this that won't hit headlines. I mean, this is a headline kind of, but it's not going to be like a big thing. It's not going to be a big thing until it is. I'm telling you, Galaxy is doing things a bit differently. It's one of those companies I do pay attention to. The same way I pay attention to who? Oh, Kraken and companies like them that are making moves, making strategic moves that add to their longevity, add to them being a part of the connective tissue. By supplying liquidity and other services and products to the space, Galaxy is becoming a part of the connective tissue. That goes a long way in the space. What else do we have going on? Crypto VC activity increased, right, to $4.6 billion in the third quarter. That's the second best quarter since the FTX collapse. Not a small thing. Not a small thing at all. It's kind of big. I look at that and I say, wow, because it had fallen off for a while, and all of a sudden it just picks right up again. And not in a small way, in a huge way. Now, something that I need to contemplate is, if things are picking up in the Web3 space, right? 4.6 billion, great. Does that offer an opportunity to offset what could possibly be an AI bubble? I have not done the math yet. But that's something I need to think about. I absolutely need to think about that. And I need to start doing the math on that one. I hadn't thought about it before. It just dawned on me, and I'm like, wow. If VC money is picking up over here, and what are they investing in? They're investing in infrastructure. They're investing in, products and services. They're investing in things that they think are going to go well over time. And that's a lot of money to spend. And I hear that there's only more coming. So yeah, there's a lot of work that's going to be there. And then people are also thinking, well, there could be a bull run. The flip side of that is some people are also thinking, well, are we in a dead cat bounce? And we could go further down. I remember somebody when we did the crypto overflow a few weeks ago, somebody said, it's highly possible we could see 70 first. Before we balloon up, we could see 70 first for Bitcoin. And at the moment, I was like, nah, it's impossible. And over the past little while, doing the math, I'm sitting there and I'm kind of going, that is a strong possibility. And then Arthur Hayes came out today and said the same thing. I'm sitting here and I'm kind of going, that's a strong possibility. But the question is, why would we see those numbers? Downward pressure from new investors. Something else that Anthony Pompliano and I actually agree on. New investors, killing it. Just saying. So there are three things that we need to pay attention to. If it's a dead cat bounce, I hope everybody's making the right moves to make their money. Like I said on the show, translations, stocks and translation, I said there are ways that you can make money even on the way down. Right? Things don't normally go down like this. It takes a catastrophic event for that to happen. It has happened, but you would know it like real fast. You'd know it real fast and you'd be like, well, I'm going to wait. That would be my investment strategy. But in usual, down markets, it's going to go like this. So those little pops up. Yeah, I'm trying to make money off of those. Right? because it depends on what you're looking at and how they're moving. And sometimes you can predict when that little pop is going to happen, and I can make a few bucks here, a few bucks here, a few bucks here, a few bucks here. Just saying. Pay attention to these things. What else we have? Doge. Doge came out with, or a Doge ETF came out yesterday, and what happened? Doge popped 5%. Not bad. Not bad at all. It's kind of a big deal, right? And I just look at things and I just kind of go, is that sustainable? Probably not. But does it show that there could be longevity? Yes. Resounding yes, right? And we should be paying attention to that kind of stuff. KuCoin registers with Austrac to operate in Australia. Another big deal. They also have another deal where they're actually being introduced. Their KuCoin Pay is being introduced in, Brazil through Pix. Another big deal. A lot of you have to start paying attention on an international level. You really, 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 really do, right? Because some of these wallets that are out there, some of these centralized exchanges that are out there, some of these decentralized exchanges out there are making moves that people are not noticing, and we really should stop and pay attention. Doesn't take a lot, but we should do it. Just saying, right? 5 days of zero inflows. If you said that about an ETF, you'd be like, what? 5 days of zero inflows. The LTC or Litecoin ETF is not doing well. It's barely scratched the surface it can't even break $7.5 million. I didn't say billion with a B. I said million with an M. I'm shocked, actually. I'm shocked. But I'm wondering if it's because you've got all of these other ones that are already out there that are just stealing all the oxygen. XRP to be the top one. Solana, another one. Right? I'm just looking at what's out there, and people forget that Litecoin is a thing. Litecoin gets used. So we'll see. We'll see if people get educated. We'll see about that. Exodus taps Bitcoin holdings to fund $1.7 million in crypto move to on-chain payments. We'll see what that does. I know a lot of people that are kind of ditching Exodus. Not that they're having an Exodus, sorry, but I know a few people that are trying to ditch Exodus. And I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if that's a brilliant move for them. Could be. We'll see how it happens. We'll see how it rolls out, right? Again, I try to pay attention to moves inside the United States, outside the United States. I try to pay attention to moves that are happening in financial hubs around the world. Like, look at the Middle East, becoming a digital asset financial hub. Major moves there. And what does that do? Well, it affects the rest of the world. We live on a tiny blue marble. I know you've heard me say that before, and it's going to keep going. I'm not shocked this Litecoin. Yeah, I'm not shocked at all. Litecoin gets overlooked all the time. But when you look at Litecoin, what is it? Always in the top 50 coins? Because Litecoin is one of those coins that gets used. Just saying. Now, from an economic perspective, apparently there's a push from the new regime to not have Elon Musk and his people testify in the Doge data access litigation case. That's an economic impact, because that would mean that we would have to admit that, we messed up. Right? Kind of a big deal. Kind of something we should be paying attention to, at least in the United States, because that would be telling. That would absolutely be telling. Then we've got Franklin and Grayscale ETF Day 1 Frenzy, 1.23 million XRP accumulated and $30.3 million traded. People were gearing up for XRP. Major fashions. People want XRP. Pay attention, folks. Pay attention. So, you know what we should do now? That's right. We should go over the numbers. So let me switch screens for you guys. Alrighty, so Dow futures implied open 69 points down, S&P futures implied open 12.5 points down, NASDAQ futures implied open 90.25 points down, oil down 0.36, US 10-year down 0.009. Interesting. Something else I found interesting is this story right here. NVIDIA shares fall 3% on report that Meta will use Google AI chips. I was going to publish that story, but there was just too much. I'm going to leave it to one of the other guys to do. It was just too much for me to do this morning. So that could be an opportunity. It could be an opportunity, right? Because Google's coming out there with their chips. How well is that going to work? NVIDIA, I can tell you now, one of NVIDIA's weaknesses is the fact that they've chosen to not do a good job on creating good tech support for CUDA. Straight up, I'm not even going to play. I own NVIDIA chips. I'm telling you now, that's one of the things that they have on the street is, hey, how come we don't get enough support? You lock us into this space, you don't give us enough support. So if somebody else comes out with a chip that can do just as well, and they have better support for their mandatory software or proprietary software, I'm just saying, something to pay attention to. What else we have? Earnings today. Yeah, I might do that. I don't know. Earnings today, Alibaba, Dell. I thought this was going to be yesterday. There are a few things. Workday is something I want to pay attention to. HP, I want to pay attention to. Dick's Sporting because they're retail. Same thing with Burlington Stores, Best Buy. Those are all things that I want to pay attention to because they're retail. So Alibaba and the rest of the retail space, I want to see how it goes. Abso-freaking-lutely. No doubt. So if we get back into numbers and we have numbers that we're expecting, maybe we'll get PPI year over year. Maybe we'll get core PPI. That's supposedly today. I don't know. I'm telling you, I'm skeptical over any numbers that we get from the United States. So I'm going to wait and see what we get, what we don't get, and see what happens. Crypto Fear and Greed Index is up at 20. It was 19 yesterday. DeFi Llama, we have $116.527 billion in total locked. We were at 112 yesterday. Happened yesterday. I didn't call it out, but yesterday at 112, same amount of tons of gold that Tether owns. Just small little thing. Looking at this is something I'm paying attention to. So talking about with that dead cat bounce, look how far down we are, how far down we reached. This is why people are saying we could wind up hitting, that 70 number. Do I think we're going to hit that number? I think obviously we can be in the 70s. But do I think we'll come so far down as to be at 77? I hope not. But I'm wondering if this could be the dead cat bounce. Bam, a hard bam, and then bam, 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 bam. And you keep moving on. I'm hoping that we hit a point where we can go lateral for a while, get some pent-up energy, and shoot back up. We'll see what happens. That's what I'm hoping happens, but we have a lot of new investors going in right now, and they're panic buying, panic selling, panic buying, panic selling. Not fun, right? But it is what it is. Trying to make money off of their money. Just saying. Solana at 136. Yeah, it was 120 something yesterday or the day before. Yeah. So we're paying attention. I told you guys, if you're into that kind of thing, you could be making money. XRP popped. It was up like 10%. You could have been making some money. We called it. We told you why something could pop. We told you ETFs are coming out. We told you that. If you wanted to make some money, that was the point. That was the point where you could have started making some money. Just saying. If you pay attention to the tea leaves, there are places where you can make money. SUI's up drastically. So again, do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Right? The GMB3. Practice the GMB3. You'll do a lot better. A lot better. You'll stop having that woozy feeling you have in your stomach because you'll be sure-footed. Either I'm going to be in or I'm going to be out. I know where I'm going to be in. I know where I'm going to be out. I know how I'm going to do it, where I'm going to do it. And I'm going to be sure in the steps that I'm taking. That's what I mean. Looking at this board right here, you can see who's doing well, who's not doing well. Believe it or not, this is crazy. XRP still up year to date, 5.7%. BNB still up year to date, 21.44%. Not Solana, down. Not Dogecoin, down. Not Cardano, down. All of them down, big. Hyperliquid, up. Look at that. Are you paying attention right here to Hyperliquid being at number 11? They're at number 11. Just saying, something to pay attention to. Bitcoin Cash. Did anybody see Bitcoin Cash popping up like this? Number 12? What? Yeah, I don't think anybody saw that coming, but I've been saying it for years, haven't I? Don't sleep on Bitcoin Cash. Don't sleep on Bitcoin Cash. And everybody thought I was nuts. Eddie, you're crazy. And there we are. Yes, I do own a bag of Bitcoin Cash. Just saying. Chainlink, another one that I never sleep on. They are the epitome of connective tissue. All I do with Chainlink, sprinkle, sprinkle. That's all I do. When I have extra cash laying around and I don't know what to do with it, Chainlink, that's where I go. That's where I go. That's where I tell my kids to go. It's a part of the connective tissue, and there's nobody coming along that I can see just yet that's going to blow them out the water, because you'll be able to see them in a far off distance. Pith Network is arguably the closest to doing so, and they're nowhere near. Nowhere near. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. Hope you enjoy what I'm talking about, what I'm doing here. If you do me a favor, smash the likes, tell your friends about us, become a subscriber, and if you can, even become a member, because membership comes with benefits. Membership comes with benefits. We fully expect to launch the new growmybag.tv website this week. Full-blown social media, access to over 12,000 articles and whatever number of videos that we've done. There'll be a lot. Oh, and it's all searchable. Everybody, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And absolutely, thank you for your trust. Yes, I will put the link to Stocks in Translation, the show that I was on this morning at 6 a.m. I will put that link in the notes for this show so everybody can take a look and let me know how I did. Everybody, have a great day, and thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.